Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back, Shadows, or if you're new here, welcome.
Yes, welcome, and you are in for a treat.
Yes. A trick or treat.
Solid. I like it.
Happy Halloween, everybody. This is our episode 1 of our spooky series we're doing for the month of October.
Yes. It's our favorite season, so we have to do something a
Yes.
little different.
Yeah. So we're doing 3 fun type episodes with a little bit of true crime mixed in, and then we'll have just 2 normal true crime episodes this month. Today's episode is Haunted Railroads and Haunted Battlefields.
Yes. Yes. Which one do you want to start with? Anyway.
I did my railroad
See,
first.
and I did opposite, so I'll
Okay.
so I'll do.
Well, we can go back and forth. We don't have to do like, you know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
we could. So yeah, I can
Okay.
start with my battlefield, and you start with your railroad.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah. See, we go along, go with the
Yeah.
flow. You know.
Go with the flow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Um,
This episode or these episodes, the spooky ones, are going to be in the kind of the same format as True Crime and a Dime, where we're each sharing a shortish story. Um,
but we weren't like
yeah.
focusing on like time or anything or length
No.
or anything
Yeah.
like that. We were kind of like this is supposed to be a nice no pressure kind of like fun research thing for us, as well as hopefully it brings you a little bit of spooky entertainment.
Yeah. And a little bit of, something different, something fun to take our mind off the mess that this country is right now.
Yeah, it is a fucking shit show. Murder will definitely, talking about that, will definitely clear up any kind of
Yeah.
turmoil we're going through.
Yeah.
But that's what
You
we
know,
got.
hey, we all have our hobbies and our things that we like.
Yeah,
Ours just happens to be true crime.
yeah, And actually, I will say, so we did try to make sure that we incorporated like a little bit of true crime where we could in these. I will not say it's probably perfect
Mhm.
because like when we do our other
Yeah.
topics, they're not going to have as much true crime. And like for me today, I don't know about you, but the railroad one was kind of hard to find one that was like um an actual true crime railway thing. So mine doesn't have like necessarily
Right.
true crime, but there's death in it obviously. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um but all right. No, we don't have any other announcements for our spooky little shadows, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, yeah, just stay tuned and we'll have our news episode this month, or it already dropped probably at this point, right?
Yeah, should be
No, that would be September's.
the last Monday in September, I
Yeah.
think it's going up.
Yeah. So check out the news episode. That's already out.
Yeah.
And let's dive on in. Do you want to go first or you want me?
You can go first if you want.
All right. Shoot. Here we go. I am starting with my battlefield. So I am taking us to the battlefield of Antietam.
I was considering doing that one
No
because it's
way.
near where Brandon's parents live. They live very close to it.
No way. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's funny. Well, now you get the details of it anyway. Oh, and by the way,
Yeah.
for these, we kind of just told each other what state we like picked these in, so that we didn't copy each other, but we didn't tell each other what we were like covering. So
Yeah.
okay, so the Battle of Antietam was also called the Battle of Sharpensburg. It took place on September 17th, 1862, near Sharpsburg, Maryland. The battlefield was between Confederate General Robert E. Lee, leading his armies from Northern Virginia, and Union Major General George B. McClellan, Army of the Potomac. This battle was the bloodiest day in American history, with total numbers of dead, wounded, and missing coming around 23,000. So
Dang.
that was a big one. The battle was a turning point for the Union side. Even though they suffered the most casualties, the battle got its name for the Antietam Creek that the battle took place. Um, over top of, like on each side. The Union side attacked the Confederates, firing on them hard from behind and the sides, and the battle went back and forth, with Lee giving it all of his manpower, while McClellan was only using 2/3 of his manpower. The Union side got this victory on September 18th when Lee had to fall back. Now I want to go over the senseless murder of Charles Adams, which is this is the one case I could find. So Charles W. Adams was 69 years old in 1912. He was the first American battlefield superintendent, starting the position in 1900. This was after the Congress got the funds to hire a doorkeeper for the park. At this time, of course, like it's a brand new park, there was no buildings, there's no paths, like it's fresh and raw, like historical land.
Mm-hmm.
Adams earned a yearly salary of $1,200, and that was later raised to $1,500. He was a very organized person and was described as efficient and non-controversial, which I guess maybe back then not being controversial is good.
Yeah, even now.
Yeah, true. A quote from a newspaper, quote, "He knew not only every man in his election district as a party leader, but almost every stick and stone on government property in his care." Adams was also a Civil War vet. He was a private in the U.S. Army in the Maryland Light Artillery. On June 13th, 1863, he was severely wounded at Winchester, Virginia. He was then captured and sent to a hospital in Baltimore. After his injuries, he got a desk job with the Army. After the end of his military career, he became a tax collector. He also had many other odd jobs that earned him a good reputation as an honest businessman. He even started a newspaper in nearby Hagerstown, Maryland in 1883. The only time Adams ever ruffled any feathers in town was when he banned farm equipment and cattle from using the park roads. I was just thinking it's funny. It's like, don't bring your cows on my road.
Yeah.
So,
1900s
yeah,
problems.
1900. On June 6, 1912, Adams ran into the wrong man at the wrong time. At 9 a.m., Charles Banner. So this is another Charles. So I will switch to saying Banner and Adams then, but they're both
Okay.
Charles. Charles Banner, who was described as a drunken, crazed job hunter. Banner confronted Adams on Burnside Bridge Road, where he was doing some work. Banner was also described as having an uncontrollable temper. A witness stated that Banner pulled out a revolver and shot Adams, who was unarmed, in the back. He emptied the revolver into him and then reloaded his revolver, while Adams was quoted saying, "Don't shoot me anymore, Charlie," before he emptied all his rounds again into Adams, who is slumped on the ground.
Jeez.
He was hit 6 times in the stomach, once in the wrist, and 1 in the neck, but there were reports of him being hit upwards of the 12 bullets, which would be the full 2 rounds would be 12 bullets. A witness alerted Adam's son-in-law, who happened to be a doctor. Adam was still alive when he was taken to the hospital, but all they could do was make him comfortable until he had died from his injuries.
That's sad.
Yeah. The 1900s of it all.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not funny, but there were false newspaper reports in the Evening News of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, stating this was a Civil War rivalry. However, Banner never served in the war. Washington Post ran a front-page article titled "American Battlefield Superintendent Victim of Assassin." Not long after a town group had hunted Banner down to his house, and when they got there, they found him sat in the corner of his kitchen with a gunshot wound to the head. We
Oh.
only have speculation on Banner's motives for killing Adams. Banner was 60 years old, married, and had a teenage son at home. Adams gave a testimony in court about Banner's character years earlier, leading to believe a possible old grudge. There was also a dispute about the William McKinley Monument, which had something to do with the property that Banner's father owned, and he sold it to Ohio. And I guess I couldn't quite get the story straight of like why, like the legality of everything, and like there was, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
between property. I couldn't get the story exactly straight, but
Okay.
this was located near Burnside Bridge. I found many reports on Banner shooting people in the past, so it doesn't seem like he was a good person, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the story about Charles. May he rest in peace. He seemed like a very diligent, hardworking man who took care of Antietam while he was there for, I think it was 12 years total.
And you don't shoot people that you don't like or disagree with. And that is sadly very relevant in this exact moment.
I knew you were going to say that. eh,
People still don't learn
no.
hundreds of years later.
No, they never will. So now I want to go over some of the stories and reports of, and a little bit more history of some of the spooky things that happen in Antietam. So some reports of the hauntings I found at Antietam involved the Irish Brigade, who volunteered to fight for the Union. Hoping to learn some skills, they called hoping to learn some skills they could use to free their homeland one day. They ran full force into the battle, out into the open field, with the enemy hidden behind a sunken wood line. So this is what happened on the Battle of Antietam, and the death of all these Irishmen. So the enemy was hidden behind a sunken wood line. The Irish suffered around 60% casualties. But the deaths weren't all a loss, as this helped the other Union army to come and flank the Confederate behind the sunken straight path. So I know it's hard to kind of like picture, but you have to picture like a sunken in woods that the Irishmen were coming in on, and they couldn't see the enemies tucked in the tree line, and they were just firing, and that's why they suffered like 60% casualties. But while that's happening, the other Union army came up behind and around the sides of the Confederate army that were shooting in front of them to the open field, unfortunately killing the Irishmen. So this really, like, with all of their casualties, it really helped with a turning point in the battle at this point. So this will be known as Bloody Lane, as the Confederates were slaughtered by the Union when they came up behind them. A group of students on a field trip to the battlefield reported hearing people singing "Deck the Halls" because they heard "Fa la la la." But after some thought, the history teacher, who the students told this story to, realized they were hearing the Irish war cry "Fa a bala," meaning "clear the way." There has also been reports of gunfire and the smell of gunpowder in this area. And I do have, if I can get it to come up. Did I do it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here we go. So I don't have to play the whole thing, obviously, but
Mhm.
I don't know if you could hear. Let me see. How do I stop it? And I know the flag and all that, y'all. If people are gonna roast me for that, but I struggled finding the song. Okay, and it says it's the song, so if I'm wrong, that's fine. I can be wrong, but I looked for the song. It's not my fault. Somebody else's YouTube video put that flag. Okay. But I don't know if
Yeah,
you
we'll
could
ignore that.
hear maybe a little bit. I could hear where they hear the fa la 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 and the deck the halls like
Maybe.
but um
It did sound very Irish.
yeah. So and also like this would have been like men's voice saying that as they're going into battle
Mhm.
type of thing. But
Yeah.
back in the civil I don't they were marching on in, with their little drums.
Yeah.
So let me put you away so I can get back to what I was doing. Okay. So there was also a report of a group of reenactors that spent the night on the battlefield hoping to experience something. As the night went on, the men were dropping like flies after having uneasy feelings. But
Hmm.
one man decided to stay alone.
Oh.
While the men were at their cars discussing what had happened to them, they heard a scream from the battlefield where the last man came running from. He claimed after laying down he heard moans and whispers in his ear, but he ignored that
Oh.
until he saw a bloody arm reach over his chest and hold him
Oh
down
no.
until he screamed and got away.
Oh no.
Yeah, which I thought is pretty
I
telling.
shit my pants.
If he was everybody else walked out of there because they felt something, and he was the skeptic staying behind. I believe
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He came running and screaming to all these. He's not going to come running and
Uh-huh.
screaming to all his guy friends like, "Oh my god!" and nothing really
Yeah.
happened.
And if you're a skeptic, that's fine. But like, especially with like battlefields where there's so much negative
Yeah,
energy
charged
and
energy.
disaster and trauma, like there's got to be something there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even if it's just imprinted energy that repeats itself. I just feel
Yeah.
like yeah. Um, Another building on the property was the Pry House. This brick farmhouse was mostly used for storage and had no reports of paranormal activity until it burned to the ground.
Hmm.
The firefighters uh, responding that night claimed to have seen a woman in the second floor window when the second floor had already burned.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah. This building was then turned into a museum and now has reports of this woman continuing to appear in the building. She can be seen walking around in dated clothing and reports of footsteps now happening in the new building. There is speculation of the identity of the woman to be Fanny Richardson. She was the wife of one of the generals wounded and brought to the Pry. She traveled from Michigan to take care of him, but unfortunately, he died in that second story room where her spirit was seen.
Hmm.
Another building in Antietam, the Piper House, was owned by Harry Piper, who had to leave his house and barn when the war began. So, I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware. War happened. I'm sure Kirsten's probably going to cover the same thing where people are just kicked out of their homes, get out of here. They'll probably come in, fuck it all up, and then like you come on back and pick up your own pieces, type of thing. His barn was used as a makeshift hospital. Bloody battles ensued inside the Piper house, leaving behind a mess for Harry. When he returned, there were still dead bodies in his house on top of all of the damage.
Oh my god.
He received no compensation for this, even after submitting a claim to the government.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not cleaning up dead bodies from my home.
Yeah.
My home.
My home. That, yeah.
Send somebody in here to help me.
Yeah. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Some of the paranormal activity in this house includes strange noises and mysterious figures wandering about. And that is what I have on the Antietam Battlefield.
Hmm. Nice.
Yes. So nice little history and a little bit of spooky. But yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely think, and that's kind of why we picked we knew like battlefields, they're going to have some spooky stuff. So,
Yeah.
and history, we
Yeah.
enjoy history. So,
Yeah, and I've literally driven past that road because Brand's parents live on. It's called Sharpsburg Pike,
okay. Yeah.
so they're right near that battlefield. So it's cool.
That's cool. There you go. I haven't seen it or been around it or anything like that.
Hmm.
But I just thought it was a nice, interesting little story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to jump to a haunted railroad.
Yes.
I'm going to be discussing the bloody pit of the Hoosac Tunnel. So the Hoosac Tunnel is an almost 5-mile long railroad track that cuts underneath the Hoosac Range, which is a mountain chain that makes up the eastern rim of jointed hill chains that make up the Berkshires region in Massachusetts. The Berkshire Hills are part of a land that has been haunted for centuries, and ghost stories are common here. Many tales are told of spirits in the forest, voices that have no source, and stories of those who have wandered into the woods never to return again. Of all of these stories, though, the most chilling is the tale of the Hoosac Tunnel near North Adams in Deerfield Valley. Folklore tells that the name Hoosac roughly translates to forbidden in the language of the area's first inhabitants, the Mohawks, but the actual meaning is closer to Stony Place. The tunnel was one of the greatest undertakings of the region, and work was started on it in 1885. At the time, Massachusetts only had one railroad that accessed the western part of the state, and that ran through the southern part of the state with limited access to the north. The tunnel was not finished until almost 22 years later in 1873. It was the longest tunnel of its kind in the world at that time. But it was certainly no easy feat and took literal blood, sweat, and tears to finish it. Hundreds of miners, using mostly black powder shovels, picks, and their own hands, fought against the rugged rock of the Hoosac Mountain. By the time the tunnel was finally finished, more than 200 men had died in what became known as the Bloody Pit. They died in fires, explosions, tunnel collapses, and in one case, murder. The
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of deaths just for one tunnel.
Yeah, and I mean, as if all of that was not like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, what came to mind was torturous, but that wasn't the word I'm
Hmm.
looking for. Like it's terrible enough. Somebody decided to kill somebody.
Yeah. Yep. On top of all that, there's murder. Yep. The explosive known as nitroglycerin was introduced to America around this time. The construction crew of the Hoosac Tunnel became one of the first crews to ever use it, but because it was so new, workers didn't know all of the risks and precautions needed with using it. On March 20th, 1865, three explosive experts named Ned Brinkman, Billy Nash, and Ringo Kelly decided to use some nitro to facilitate their work on the tunnel. They placed a charge and ran back toward a safety bunker that would protect them from the blast. Brinkman and Nash never made it, however. Ringo Kelly set off the charge before the other men could make it to safety, and the two men were buried alive under tons of rock.
Oh
Yeah, that sounds horrifying.
God, I hope if that would ever please let me be crushed. Please
I
let me
know,
just be
right?
crushed. let it
Yeah,
be
take me out
quick.
right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please. Straight to the dome, man. Just smush it.
um, soon after the accident, Kelly vanished without a trace, making people wonder if it was truly an accident. He was not seen again until March 30th, 1866, almost exactly 1 year later, when his body was discovered 2 miles inside of the tunnel.
Oh.
He was found at almost the exact spot where Brinkman and Nash had been killed.
Hmm.
Authorities discovered that Kelly had been strangled to death.
Ow! Wow! Look at them doing their police work back then.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hell yeah!
In 1800s, yep.
They could have easily wrote that off as a minor accident, you know, like,
They could have.
yeah.
Yep.
No, but they were like, "No, this some bitch was
Yeah.
strangled. Look
Let's
at
see what
that."
happened. Let's see what actually happened here. Let's do our
Yeah.
actual job.
Yeah, look at that.
Deputy Sheriff Charles F. Gibson estimated that he had been murdered between midnight and 3:30 a.m. that morning. They even have a time of death.
Hell yeah. Let's go, Gibson.
The death was thoroughly investigated, but no suspects were ever found, and the crime went unsolved.
Well, damn, you just blew the wind right out of my sail. Really? Let's go, Gibson. Fucking, it's like
I
me
mean, it
watching
would
the
be hard to
Eagles.
serve murder back then, I feel like, you know.
Yeah, it would be hard to, especially like it was how long later that 2 years you said or something that his body was
Mhm.
found. Yeah,
Yeah.
but wait,
Uh,
two
like almost a year later.
almost a year. How would they have known he got strangled? He would have been decomposed, wouldn't you think?
Well, he died almost a year later from when the two men were
Oh,
crushed to
oh,
death.
okay, 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 okay. Gotcha,
He was
gotcha. I
like
would.
absent for a year. He
Oh,
ran
okay, I
off.
got you now. Okay, I
And
got you.
then his dead body was found a year later. But it was, I guess, found not long after he died.
Okay, gotcha.
Construction workers believed that Kelly had been killed by the vengeful spirits of Brinkman and Nash. They believed the
Okay, yeah.
tunnel was cursed, and many of them refused to enter it again. Some crew members even walked off the job and never returned.
Okay.
Because of this, work on the tunnel significantly slowed down to the point that Dunn, one of the heads of the construction company, contacted Paul Travers, a mechanical engineer and a respected cavalry officer during the Civil War, to come investigate. The workers complained of constantly hearing a man's voice cry out in agony. Travers and Dunn went out to the site on September 8, 1868, and Travers later wrote a letter to his sister about his experience saying, quote, Dunn and I entered the tunnel at exactly 9 o'clock p.m. We traveled about 2 miles into the shaft and then we stopped to listen. As we stood there in the cold silence, we both heard what truly sounded like a man groaning out in pain. As you know, I have heard that same sound many times during the war. Yet when we turned up the wicks on our lamps, there were no other human beings in the shaft except Mr. Dunn and myself. I'll admit I haven't been this frightened since Shiloh. Mr. Dunn agreed that it wasn't the wind we heard. Perhaps Nash and Brinkman, I wonder. End quote. On October 17th, disaster struck when a gas explosion blew apart the water pumping station on the surface, and 13 miners were killed when debris filled the central tunnel where they had been working. A reporter for the North Adams Transcript wrote that a miner named Mallory was lowered into a bucket into the shaft to look for any signs of survivors. He was brought back to the surface a few minutes later, nearly unconscious from the fumes inside, and all he managed to say was, "No hope."
Mm, wow,
Yeah.
that's deep.
Unfortunately,
That
without.
that goes deep.
Yeah, it literally.
Literally.
Because he went deep in a tunnel.
God. God.
Huh. Um, Unfortunately, without the pumping station, the 538-foot shaft filled with water, and the bodies of some of the deceased began to surface.
Oh my goodness.
It took more than a year to find all of the men.
Wow.
Glenn Drohan, a reporter, wrote, quote, During the time the miners were missing, villagers told strange tales of vague shapes and muffled wails near the water-filled pit. Workmen claimed to see the lost miners carrying picks and shovels through a shroud of mist and snow on the mountaintop. The ghostly apparitions would appear briefly, then vanish, leaving no footprints in the snow, giving no answer to the miners' calls. End quote. A doctor, Clifford J. Owen, and James R. McKinstry, a drilling operations superintendent, visited the tunnel on June 25, 1872. They traveled about 2 miles into the tunnel when they heard a man moaning in pain. Owen said, quote, The next thing I saw was a dim light coming along the tunnel in a westerly direction. At first I believed that it was probably a workman with a lantern. Yet, as the light grew closer, it took a strange blue color and appeared to change in shape into the form of a human being with no head. It hovered off toward the east side of the tunnel and vanished. I was unable to deny what James McKinstry and I witnessed with our own eyes. End quote. On October 16, 1874, a local hunter named Frank Webster vanished near Hoosac Mountain. 3 days later, he was found by a search party stumbling along the banks of the Deerfield River. He was in a state of shock, mumbling incoherently and falling down. He told the rescuers that strange voices had ordered him into the Hoosac Tunnel, and once when he was inside, he saw ghostly figures wandering around. He also said that invisible hands had snatched his hunting rifle away from him, and that he had been beaten with it and couldn't remember leaving the tunnel. Yeah,
What do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it could have been a person in there that beat him with it and he just didn't see them, but like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I mean that's true.
Like, what's
Yeah,
the
I guess I
motive?
need a little more details if we had it, like to look into that or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself when they're saying mumbling incoherent and stumbling around, I was thinking like went into a state of psychosis. But um, who knows what triggers that? Maybe he heard like little spirit noises and things, and that was
Mm-hmm.
like holy shit.
Yeah, maybe. On February 9th, 1875, the first train went through the tunnel, pulling 3 flat cars and a boxcar. It's reported that in the fall of 1875, a firefighter on the Boston and Maine rail line named Harlan Mulvaney was taking a wagon load of wood into the tunnel. He didn't make it very far when he suddenly turned his team around and drove them out of the tunnel. A few days later, workers found the team and the wagon in the forest about 3 miles away from the tunnel, but Harlan Mulvaney was apparently never seen or heard from again. So something spooked him so bad that he like ran off and disappeared in
Yeah,
that tunnel.
we gotta go to this tunnel.
I know, right?
Let's go to this fucking tunnel, Kirsten.
Yeah, and it's in Massachusetts, so we'll go there and then we'll go to Salem.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. Ghost hunters and paranormal groups began investigating in the tunnel in the 1970s and 1980s. A professor and part-time ghost hunter named Allie Allmaker was accompanied to the tunnel by a railroad official in 1984, and while there had the feeling of someone standing close to her. She also reported several students from North Adams State College visited the tunnel one night and left a tape recorder running in the shaft. They left it there, and when they returned and listened to the tape, they heard what seemed to be muffled human voices. Locals in the area still claim that strange winds, apparitions, and disembodied voices are experienced around and in the tunnel. The Boston and Maine Railroad runs nearly a dozen freight trains through the tunnel each day. And if you're interested in the historical aspects of the tunnel, you can visit a museum that is dedicated to the site in the Western Gateway Heritage State Park. And that is the bloody pit of the Hoosac Tunnel.
Dude, that was awesome. I really enjoyed that one, actually.
Yeah, a lot of little weird ghost stories in that one.
Yeah, that one, I can tell that place obviously holds a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was good or bad that you did your tunnel first and mine last because you blew me out of the water. My tunnel's
Oh, no.
My
I
railway.
mean, some of them just don't have a lot of info. Even that one, it took me a while to even come across that.
Yeah.
It was hard to find a spooky railroad or tunnel.
It was a good challenge for us,
Mm-hmm.
but like it was also a good change up challenge, like
Yeah.
so. No, I really like that. That was really good. We had to go visit.
Thanks. Yeah, we will.
For sure. So now I get to, I'm so sorry I get to like bring it down a notch with my tunnel, but mine's not as as good. Let's get this up here. So I am talking about the Stumphouse Tunnel. I'm going to talk about the Blue Ridge this is going to get me this whole time. Railway. Specifically in the great terrible state of South Carolina. The start, I'm just kidding. I live here. I can insult it. The start on construction started in 1852 with the plans for 195 miles of track from Anderson, South Carolina to Knoxville, Tennessee. These plans included 13 tunnels, and 3 of these tunnels were never completed, one of them due to the horrible tragedy that I will cover today. In about 7 years, the railroad was built between Anderson and West Union, South Carolina. Unfortunately, the Civil War broke out, seizing all construction. The tunnels were never worked on again after the war, so I assume that none of the tunnels were actually completed, but I was able to confirm that 3 of them, which were all in the surrounding area, were never completed.
Okay.
After the war, the locals and council members insisted on completing the 34-mile railroad from West Union to Walhalla, South Carolina. Where Stumphouse Mountain currently is in Walhalla. The first train to travel these tracks in Oconee County arrived on November 14th, 1877. No more progress on the railroad, like I said, has been made, and by 1951, the services between Anderson, South Carolina, and the rest of South Carolina had stopped completely. The tragedy I want to cover starts at the Stumphouse Mountain Tunnel that was so this tunnel is located in Oconee, South Carolina, in Sumter National Forest, making it the westernmost tunnel out of the 3 tunnels in this area. In 1951, Clemson University purchased this tunnel and cured blue cheese inside of it for a few years.
Yeah.
This tunnel holds a cool 58 degrees year-round and 90% humidity, so it made perfect conditions to cure blue cheese, which I personally love blue cheese.
I hate blue cheese. I'm a ranch girly.
I like ranch too, but I love blue cheese.
Ugh, I hate blue cheese.
The tunnel and Isquina Falls are now located in Walhalla Park and has been on the National Register of Historic Places since 1971. The tunnel is around 1,600 feet deep, 25 feet high, and 17 feet wide, but it was intended to be 5,682 feet long with 4 shafts along the way.
Damn, that's
And
long.
yeah, I just realized I apologize, Canada and everybody else. I just say Canada because we know we got somebody who's committed. I should have put that in meters, but
Uh,
I didn't think about it. I apologize. The idea for this tunnel was proposed in 1835. The plan was to connect Charleston to the Ohio River Valley because before the railway, the only way to access the Ohio River side of the mountain was to travel south from Charleston down through Georgia and then up around the mountains through Tennessee. So this tunnel would help minimize the travel significantly if the
yeah.
tunnel was finished. The construction of the Stumphouse Tunnel. I want to make sure that I repeated this fact twice because I wanted to make sure that you knew it was 1856 we started this. The George Collar Company out of London hired around 1,500 Irish workers total to construct this tunnel. The workers slept in housing provided on top of the mountain called Tunnel Hill. I found reports of up to 500 men working on this tunnel at a time. The little settlement on top of the mountain was not the greatest living conditions. Besides them having to deal with mountain weather and the lack of supplies there, because again, we're in the 1800s, the workers were constantly exposed to black powder from the explosives that they used to get through the blue granite mountainside. They were also exposed to all of that noise from working and the smoke from the steam engines constantly around them of all hours. The work on this tunnel never stopped. To construct this tunnel, a heading team is sent in first to hand drive a steel drill at the top of where you want the tunnel to be. These holes were 8 feet deep, made by 2 men, alternating swings of an 8-pound sledgehammer to drive the steel into the rock. It took around 3 hours to drill a single hole. So picture that.
Sounds
Just
horrible.
repetitive pound,
Yeah.
pound for 3 hours,
Ugh,
pounding
I'd be so
steel and
tired.
stone. I couldn't imagine that.
No.
Then the small holes were made to lay the black powder explosives. And then they would blow that area up and then continue further onto the cave, the tunnel, and continue the same process over. These were very dangerous conditions, like Kirsten already said, uh, prone to cave ins and accidents. These men were paid $1.19 to $1.68 a day for a 12-hour shift.
My God, I can't even imagine.
I know. God, literally.
Like,
We
wonder what that
might
equated
pay for
to.
that. Like that's $30 a month, like a little more than $30 a month, but like
Uh-huh.
$30 a month.
And that's if you're working every single day, 12
Yeah,
hours.
that yeah, which they probably were, let's be real here, but
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, terrible. Um but again, once the Civil War began, those three tunnels in Oconee County were never completed. Meaning that the Blue Ridge Railway extends only as far as Walhalla. There is no official record of the workers who uh, may have died building this tunnel, but what I did find was a report of at least 10 men died building the tunnel. The legend is that you can still hear the spirits of the workers trying to finish the Stumphouse Tunnel. There are many reports of hearing the explosives and picks hitting stone. I personally have actually passed this tunnel. I did not go and explore it, but Oconee State Park. To get into that state park, which it is tucked way back in there, you have no cell phone service. Like if you want to be
mhm.
out into the woods of a state, and I camped there. We went and stayed in a little camper cabin in winter. It was like one of those cabins that you can only heat with the fireplace. So we had the fireplace going.
Okay.
It's very nice. It was a beautiful weekend. But and it's a very nice mountainous area out in South Carolina. And to get to the state park, you literally have to pass where this Stumphouse Tunnel is. And I was not aware of this history of it. Actually, we did not stop. I did not
Mhm.
learn about this until we brought up doing this tunnel and railway, and I had no idea that this was part of the Blue Ridge Railway, um, which I know about as well from all my trips to like Tennessee and things like that. But
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that I have actually passed this, but I
Yeah.
didn't know
Cool.
its history and stuff. So that is my pathetic little story compared to Kirsten's.
It's so good.
Of the Stumphouse tunnels in South Carolina here.
Very good. All right. So next, I'm going to do a battlefield, and because I'm a PA girly, we have to discuss Gettysburg.
Yep.
Gettysburg is located in Adams County, Pennsylvania. The Battle of Gettysburg occurred from July 1st to the 3rd, 1863, and was the deadliest and bloodiest battle of the American Civil War, resulting in over 50,000 casualties, and is considered the war's turning point. Which I think you also mentioned that for yours too, about being a turning point.
Every article they have to
Yeah.
it's probably how every battle honestly was. Like, you
Hmm.
go to a battle and you're like, oh, it's the turning point. And the next,
Yeah.
there's another battle and they're like, well, it's the turning point.
But man, it's just like 50,000 casualties in one battle.
Yeah, that's
Like, how
double
did we have
mine.
any men left in this country after the Civil War? Because this
Yeah,
was
and
just one battle.
that's crazy. Yeah.
Like, I don't know how anyone survived that war. The battle's aftermath led to President Lincoln discovering or delivering the Gettysburg Address. Gettysburg is considered a paranormal hotspot and one of America's most haunted places. The
Let me
trauma
tell
of the
you.
oh,
Oh, sorry. I was going to say,
okay.
if you have not been to Gettysburg, you literally, when you step out of your car, it is palpable
Mm-hmm.
in the air of that place, the history in that place. Let me tell you, like that, it
Yeah.
just oozes it. Like I've been to Salem, Kirsten hasn't been to Salem yet, but I've been to Salem, Massachusetts. I've been to like all those places that they just come with those little vibes. You get out of
Mm-hmm.
your car, and that town just comes with that vibe. And in Gettysburg, it is pure. Like it's almost like you have to take a moment of silence naturally
Yeah.
because of that feeling in the air of how much death and how much has happened here, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should go when you come up. We should go to Gettysburg.
We should. I love that area. I haven't been there in a hot minute. And there's a cute
Yeah,
little
same.
yeah, cute little bed and breakfast in the corner of the main town y'all ever I can't remember what it's called, but it's in the corner.
Yeah, and there's a coffee place there I want to try.
Dude. Oh, and it's Pumpkin Spice Station, baby.
We
Let's
gotta go.
go.
We'll make it
Guys,
a
I
day
bet we
trip and then
yeah,
do it
whoever's
this
listening
time
to
in
this
the evening.
episode, do it in the yes, we should.
We should. Because I've
Future
been in
listening.
Gettysburg, but I haven't done a ghost tour there.
And I bet you're gonna bring up the Jenny Wade house, but you can do
Mhm.
one there.
Yeah,
Yes. So we it's a date. I love Gettysburg.
it is. We're gonna drag Steph along.
That's right.
The trauma of the war is believed to have trapped the spirits of soldiers and civilians. There's a few specific locations in Gettysburg that are known for paranormal activity. Number one being obviously the battlefield. Numerous reports exist from various parts of the park of apparitions and of phantom soldiers marching in formation or mounted on horseback as if still fighting the battle. These ghosts are said to haunt the fields where Pickett's charge took place, the slopes of Little Round Top and the Peach Orchard, the wheat field, and numerous other famous battlefield sites. In the aptly named Valley of Death, apparitions of soldiers have been frequently reported. In the nearby adjacent area known as the Triangular Field, there have been dozens of reports who claimed unexplained malfunction of cameras, recorders, and electronic equipment specific to that area. We also have Sachs Covered Bridge. On Waterworks Road is reported to be one of the most haunted spots in all of Gettysburg. The wandering spirits of 3 hanged Confederate soldiers are believed to haunt the vicinity of the bridge at various times of day and night. Reports include sightings of apparitions, smell of cigar smoke, and feelings of a touch from an unseen presence.
Ooh. Let's go there. I
I
want to
know.
like touch.
We also have Devil's Den. An elevated outcropping of large haphazard boulders served as a Confederate sniper nest for much of the battle and was the site of particularly vicious fighting. Initial ghost sightings began in the area shortly after the battle and have been a regular occurrence ever since. Witnesses have seen spectral soldiers and hear unexplained battle sounds and cries of anguish. Several photographers have reportedly captured fleeting images of one ghost soldier, an unkempt, long-haired figure, shoeless and ragged clothing, wearing a floppy-brimmed hat. And I saw him in my research mentioned more than once, this specific unkempt-looking soldier with a floppy-brimmed hat.
Did you? Wow.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for him if you're in Gettysburg.
Right.
And then there's the famous Jenny Wade House. The Jenny Wade House has been featured on television programs such as Ghost Lab and Ghost Adventures and is widely reputed to be an extremely haunted place. It is the location where Mary Virginia, or Jenny Wade, the only civilian casualty at the Battle of Gettysburg, was shot and killed. Jenny was only 20 years old when a stray bullet from the battle outside pierced a wooden door while she was baking bread in her sister's kitchen, striking her in the heart and taking her life. Like, what are the odds? You're at
And
your
let me
sister's
tell you,
house baking bread and it hits you in the heart.
um, that would be how Amber would go out. I know it. I'll be on the homestead making bread, and next you know, I'm just. But when you go and visit this house, they show you the door with the bullet hole in it. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that is the original door with the bullet hole in it that kills her, and it's just like I literally almost like got
It's like
goosebumps
chills,
thinking
you know?
about it.
Yeah.
Yes, like I'm telling you, put Gettysburg on your list. If it's not on your radar, it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially this time of the year.
Yeah.
Visitors to the house have reported hearing strange, unexplained movements, unanswered voices, and the fearful moaning of disincorporated spirits at various places in the house. And we have the Farnsworth Inn. It is believed by some that the house is presently haunted by no less than 16 distinct spirits, including that of an 8-year-old boy, several Civil War soldiers, and a former midwife. Sounds of disembodied breathing, grunts, voices, and the musical strains of a jaw harp, along with strong scent of cigars, have been experienced by guests who visit the house.
I
And we have
would
this old. Oh.
I would love, like, because I'm obviously with my whole eyesight thing, I'm not as much of a
Mm-hmm.
visual person. It would knock my socks off if I got what
A
do you want
whiff
to
of
call
something.
it? Yeah, or yeah, that because I would notice that right away. Like I know
Mm-hmm.
myself and my sense of smell. Like I would be like,
Yeah.
"You smell a cigar?"
Yeah, we gotta go.
We should, yes.
Yeah. We also have the Soldiers' Orphanage. It was originally a private home, but during the battle, it was converted into a makeshift hospital for wounded soldiers. Its cellar was filled with the bodies of the dead and dying soldiers. After the Battle of Gettysburg, the facility was converted into the National Soldiers' Orphanage Homestead, an orphanage to house children who had lost their parents in the battle. Rosa J. Carmichael assumed the role of head mistress. It was rumored that Carmichael tortured and chained orphan children in a dungeon she secretly created in the cellar, and the cellar is supposedly very haunted for that reason.
Wow, what a sick bitch.
Right? Like, what the hell?
Orphanages are so terrible,
Yeah.
though. They really
We
are.
should have put that on our list, haunted orphanages.
Oh, good
That would
idea.
have been a
Adding
good
it.
one. Yeah.
Done.
Yep. Next, we have the Grove. The Grove is an area that lies a few hundred yards from the base of East Cemetery Hill. This area was the site of a grisly exchange between Ohio and Louisiana regiments. The casualties on both sides were terrible, resulting in the creation of unmarked mass graves throughout the area. A road was laid through the grove in 1963, accidentally unearthing the remains of several soldiers.
Oh.
And there have been sightings here of the ghost of a young girl.
Mm.
So yeah, desecrating a grave to make a road is definitely not good.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, like nowadays, it is, and I know this is morbid, but it's very hard to
Yeah,
like buy anything or live anywhere or build anything.
where
I
there's
know
not
somebody
dead
who
bodies. Yeah.
wanted to put a in-ground pool in their backyard and had already purchased the house and had to get somebody to come out and look, and there's a graveyard in their backyard and they can't dig the pool.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, yeah, and like they don't know like what the
What happened to
graveyard
the
is.
gravestones?
It was an unmarked. We think it was a Native American unmarked
Oh.
like burial. Yeah, so they use like the little I don't know sonographic. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know words, but
Yeah.
to penetrate to look through, and that's how
Yeah.
they found it. Yeah.
Dang. Is her house haunted?
Um. Yeah. Look at you. You know who I'm talking about. Not that I ever noticed, but it'd be cool if it was.
Yeah. Especially if it's, Native American burial ground. You don't mess
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, man.
Next, we have the Dobbin House. The Dobbin House is an old inn that existed during the Civil War. The ghost of a Confederate soldier is said to stare forlornly out one of the second floor windows. This old stone house was also once an important stopping point on the Underground Railroad. Slaves who hid here en route to freedom further north were forced to conceal themselves for lengthy periods in tiny secret hiding places located beneath the floor and in the walls of the inn. Of the inn's. Okay, I can't speak.
You can do it.
In secret hiding places located beneath the floor and in the walls of the inn.
You fucking nailed it.
Those hiding places still exist and can be viewed by current visitors. It is believed that the ghost of the inn's owner and founder, Alexander Dobbin, still appears at various places throughout the inn, always smoking a cigar. And some believe that many of the slaves who came to this house in search of freedom may have returned here from beyond the grave.
That's
Next
one
we
topic that I don't think we will ever, no matter all the ghosts and all the spookies in the world, is
Hmm.
anything with that kind of history. I never want to cover anything like that. So, but
Yeah.
um, it is cool that the underground. I mean, not cool, but interesting that the
Hmm.
Underground Railroad
Right. Well, I guess
is.
we will slightly because we were going to do haunted plantations.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe we could change it to haunted orphanages.
You know what? I think that's solid because you want to know what I have decided, and I'll tell the world that I think um the best way to diminish anything and is that has too much attention. And I think this is pretty significant also to, sorry to squeeze this in here in the middle, but like with everything going on in the world here, but is to stop fucking talking about it. Um,
Hmm.
so, like you just stop talking about racism and stop making it something to talk about,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
it probably will never stop. It'll never stop. We'll always live in a world where it is. But if we
Hmm.
can just see people as people instead of
Right.
anything else,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a good idea that we change that because I would rather not bring attention to that. I think if
Yeah.
people are
Even though it
interested
is important to know our history, um,
of how
but
terrible our ancestors are, yes,
yeah. Hmm.
yeah, I think is good, and we can easily. I could being here in South Carolina, Boone Plantation, right outside of Charleston, is a fantastic one to go to. Um, and there's tons down here in the South. I do recommend visiting a plantation. Go and
Hmm.
see where these people lived. Go and see where they were put and tortured, and go and see the fields they worked
Yeah.
in. You know, uh,
Hmm.
so sorry to
Yeah.
squeeze that in there. Back to the
Yeah.
battlefield.
Well, slavery, that's its own morbid topic that, yeah, it's just insane to think that that ever happened.
Yes, that is part of our it is part
Yeah.
of history, but unfortunately I feel like it's a part of history that still rears its ugly head here in
Hmm.
2025. So
Yeah, it
that's
does.
why I think the orphanage switch is good, and hopefully all of our little viewers agree that is a I think that's interesting. So
Hmm. Yeah. All right. Next, we have the haunted Hoffman Mansion. I almost said the haunted mansion.
hell yeah.
The Hoffman Mansion was a 123-acre dairy farm owned by the Hoffman family. Like other houses in the Gettysburg area, the Hoffman Mansion was reportedly used as a field hospital for Union troops during and after Pickett's charge. During battle, many wounded soldiers were brought to the makeshift field hospitals and perished, and some believe their spirits still linger there. It's also said that one of the Hoffman daughters supposedly hung herself inside the home in response to her husband's infidelity.
Hmm.
And some say that her spirit still haunts the upstairs attic.
No, girl, don't kill yourself because he cheated.
Yeah, not over a man.
No, never get bent out of shape over a bitch. I live by that.
Yes. Next, we have the Reynolds Death House. The building was owned by Gettysburg local George, and that's his name, George. At the
George, the jug gone. Unlocked a core memory for multiple
Yeah,
people
you
right
really
now.
did. All the 90s kids.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, it was owned by him at the time of the battle, and it served as a temporary resting place for famous Union Major General John F. Reynolds. Mortally wounded on the morning of the first day of the battle, Reynolds's body was brought back to this building, where legend has it his blood seeped into the floorboards, stains that are said to spiritually reappear upon occasion.
Oh, spooky blood.
Yeah, spooky blood. The house is believed to be actively haunted by at least 4 different ghosts, including the general, his fiancee Catherine Hewitt, the spirit of a teenage boy, and a petulant, mischievous fourth ghost known as the Liar.
I want to. I hope I have a badass name when I die. I
I know.
hope it's something good, like the gambler, or
Uh
I
huh.
don't know. Like instead, it's gonna be something stupid. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I will easily roast myself, but like I can't think of one right now.
Yeah. I don't know, the liar, I wouldn't want to be known as that.
Yeah, but it all depends
And I
on
don't know why he's known as that. It didn't say.
you know what? Fuck it. I'd just be happy with a reputation. Good, bad, ugly, I don't care.
It's true. And next we have Gettysburg College. Known as Pennsylvania College at the time of the 1863 battle, the campus was located in the midst of the fighting, its structures providing shelter for the wounded and dying. Its main building, Pennsylvania Hall, which was constructed in 1837 and nicknamed Old Dorm, served as a Confederate field hospital during the battle. Students and staff members report seeing ghostly figures of soldiers pacing back and forth. Two college administrators leaving the building one night reported that the elevator doors opened onto a grisly scene of a Civil War-era operating room, packed with the wounded and dying, but yet it was eerily silent. When the elevator door closed and reopened, the scene vanished.
Oh,
That's creepy as hell.
yeah. Yeah, that would fuck me right up.
Yeah, same. I'd be afraid to go to sleep.
That'd be so fucked up. I'm being in the elevator and
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell do I do?
Yeah. Yeah, like I would probably be just frozen in fear.
Yeah. Shitting
Yeah,
in the
that's
corner of
creepy.
the elevator.
Yeah. Probably. Oh man. Next we have Iverson's Pits. The area around the modern Doubleday Inn is widely linked to local paranormal activity, since it is located directly adjacent to the former site of the Forney farmhouse, notoriously the location of a mass gravesite known as Iverson's Pits. An entire brigade of North Carolina soldiers was slaughtered near there and buried in mass where they fell. And there's also a number of once private residences scattered across the battlefield where supernatural activity is alleged to have occurred over the past 160 years. Many of these homes are now property of the National Park Service, and most were used during the battle as makeshift field hospitals and shelters for the wounded.
Yeah.
There's also a few famous ghost sightings in Gettysburg. One of the most famous in Gettysburg has become known as the Phantom Regiment, which is supposedly the ghostly remnants of a Confederate unit that still haunts the battlefield. You can hear their ghostly drums and footsteps echoing through the night. Visitors and ghost hunters have reported seeing this procession of soldiers. There's also the Lady in White. According to Gettysburg Battlefield Tours.com, quote, the Lady in White is another famous Gettysburg specter known for her ethereal presence and sorrowful demeanor. Legend has it that the Lady in White roams the battlefield and the historic town, her figure draping in a flowing white dress that seems to glow in the moonlight. Witnesses describe her as appearing lost and forlorn, her face etched with sadness, end quote. Some believe she is the ghost of a woman who lost her beloved during the Civil War, forever searching for him among the countless graves and battle sites. And then we also have Tilly Pierce. The Tilly Pierce house is known for its supernatural occurrences, particularly the presence of a young girl's ghost referred to as the Tilly Pierce House Girl. The ghost is said to haunt the historic building with her laughter and footsteps. And Tilly Pierce was a young girl who lived in Gettysburg during the time of the Civil War. And that's what I have for Gettysburg.
Well, hot damn. I've decided we're going.
Yep, we have to.
Even if we just frolic through the battlefields, I don't care.
Right?
Yes, Gettysburg is always it's a huge tragedy, but the history and that town, it just like it is honestly, I feel like you think about the Civil War, and I don't know if it's the Pennsylvania in us or what, but I think of Gettysburg.
Yeah, same. I just think Gettysburg. I mean, it could be because we live here, but also it was the deadliest battle of the Civil War, so it sticks out.
Yes, so well, I really like that. That was very good. I knew freaking Gettysburg wouldn't disappoint, and the Jenny Wade house. I love the Jenny Wade house. I've been through there. We should
I
definitely
have
check
not
it out.
actually.
You have not at all?
Mm-mm.
Holy shit! No way. We have to go.
Yeah, we
I didn't
do.
know that.
No, I've only been like to the battlefields, and
That's it.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah. We used to go like family day
the
trips all the
31
time.
years I've lived here, never.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna get her to the Jenny Wade house. You have to see that bullet hole in the door, man. It's a different vibe when you see where she dropped dead.
Yeah,
Right from the
yeah.
bread.
I've seen
Like,
it on, TV and the Travel Channel, but that's it.
yeah, but you don't get the old creaky 1800s floorboards you're cricking around
Yeah,
on, okay? That smell, that old smell in the air,
yeah,
like it's
yeah. We
just
gotta
not the
go.
same. Yeah. And then the basement too. I know you can do ghost hunting in the basement. I don't know if it's like just private companies or whatever, but
Hmm.
they have pictures. Like when you go to the basement, they have pictures of what people have caught um
Okay.
in the basement, like on camera and stuff. So yeah, we definitely want to check it out. I didn't know you'd
Yeah.
never been there. My family always loved that kind of stuff, so we always went and did
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. So, but I hope everybody enjoyed this as a little installment. Again, it's just for the month of October,
Hmm.
and it won't be
So
forever.
if you
But
hate it, we won't do it again. Just
yeah,
kidding. We won't
it's
do it
still
next year.
next October. Yeah, so we hope you liked it. And yeah, I do think we'll change our other one. We didn't tell anybody what we were doing, so we can change
No,
whatever
yeah,
we
it's just
want.
a little list amongst ourselves.
Yes. So yeah, I think orphanage is solid. I think that's a
Yeah,
solid suggestion.
yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's do that. So
I mean, if you
um
have a suggestion, there is some time from the time this episode goes live before we record all of our spooky episodes. So
yeah. But if we
if
don't
you
get one
have a,
in,
yeah.
we will probably stick to what we have, I guess.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I hope everybody is enjoying their fall season so far. Hopefully it's cooled down because at the time of the recording, I think it reached a whopping 91 degrees with humidity today in the great state of South Carolina. So
Mm.
I'm ready for fall and I'm ready for a pumpkin to punch me right in the face. So
Yes.
hopefully we get that soon. And yeah, everybody stay spooky out there. Anything to add, Kirsten?
I don't think so.
Well, then make like a follow. Make like a follow. Look, I was trying to be so smooth with that. Fuck me. I can't do anything right. Make like a shadow and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at.
Lurking in the Shadows podcast.
Check us out on TikTok at.
Lurking in the Shadows pod.
Any case suggestions, questions, or concerns, shoot us a Gmail at.
Lurking in the Shadows podcast at gmail.com. And keep lurking around for our next episode. Bye.
Bye.